Today's business terrain is complex, but managing your business risks doesn't have to be. Cover Buddies is Malaysia's preferred insurance provider. Get that peace of mind knowing that our consultants can help you source and manage your insurance portfolio. For more information, visit our website at www.coverbuddies.com.
And welcome to the official Cover Buddies podcast. And today I want to share with you very quickly about the difference between a medical card, travel insurance, and also, more importantly, international medical cards and how they work. And I don't want to get into too technical because, the next thing you know, this whole podcast is going to last the next 2 hours or so, but just some of the key points so that you have a better understanding of how it works. So number one, let's talk about the local medical cards that's available here in Malaysia. I am referring to, for example, the standalone medical cards and also the ones that's offered in life insurance companies like Prudential, AIA, Allianz, the list goes on. So let's talk a little bit about some of the key points for those basic medical cards. Number one, the basic premise for these medical cards is that they are cards which provide you hospital facilities or access to hospitals in Malaysia. In other words, it is a local healthcare program that enables you to have, let's say, access to a network of hospitals in Malaysia. So that's very clear. So in the event, for example, if you needed to use medical facilities or to be admitted, as long as it is under their network, it's in their panel, you can actually use it. Now, let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons. The pro for local medical cards is that it is very established and most of the good hospitals are already covered. And in most instances, as long as you are, let's say, a Malaysian and you are subscribed to one of those medical programs, they have a wide variety. Usually the panel is huge. They have got a lot of hospitals that are under that panel. So it's very, very convenient. It's easy to use. It's affordable. It's easy to understand and so forth. Now, what are the cons? Well, the cons is that you have to understand because it is a Malaysian health program. So it's applicable in Malaysia. But what if, let's say, you are overseas, you go for a short trip, you're heading over to Singapore or maybe head over to Australia or whatever. Can you use it? Let's say there is an injury and so forth and you need to use it. The answer is basically you have to do a pay and claim. In other words, you have to pay out of pocket first. And sometimes in different countries, that cost can be quite high. So you have to be careful of that. So in other words, it's applicable in Malaysia, but overseas, you may be able to do a claim. So in other words, you pay for it first, you come back, you talk to your insurer, and you present your receipts and basically all the proof that you've been admitted and the reason because of that. In most instances, you can, but it's a more lengthy process. In other words, it's not seamless. Not like when you are in Malaysia, it is totally seamless, very straightforward. Now, let's talk a little bit about travel insurance. Travel insurance is a little bit different. Travel insurance is usually you have your medical benefits and so forth, which usually is pay and claim. However, there are some programs from different insurance right now where they actually allow where it is cashless. That means it pays for your cost up front. You don't have to be out of pocket. There are a few, but not many. But in general, most of the plans here in Malaysia, they are basically pay and claim. And what I like about travel insurance is that they add in a couple of things to sweeten the deal. Things like, for example, lost luggage, travel curtailment, and so forth. So these are things that is unique to traveling. Another thing about travel insurance is that, number one, they're very affordable. I think the ones in Malaysia are like 100 plus 200 ringgit. So you can pick them up online or you can go through an agency. They are pretty straightforward. But you have to remember, it is pay and claim for medical. Now, some of the interesting things about travel insurance is that, number one, they do cover for some of those plans, okay? They do cover for, let's say, certain sports like skiing, mountaineering, and so forth. Under normal circumstances, your normal medical plan, they don't. But travel insurance, some of them out there, they do. So it depends. Not all are the same. It depends on what your activities are when you are traveling. So if you ask me, if you talk about travel insurance, what are the pros and cons? Well, number one, the pro is that it's really affordable. You can get it online, you can get through an agency, it's easy. The cons is that, well, there's really not much cons to it considering the price that you pay for it. It's cheap, affordable, easy to obtain, pretty straightforward. Now let's talk a little bit about international medical cards. Now these are a little bit different. Number one, right off the gate, basically these medical cards are a little bit more expensive. They can cost anywhere from $200 to $300 USD a month, right? There are a few players there, and basically they are known as, international private medical insurance providers. And what they do is that they are more interesting. They are more suited towards people or expats where you are in a different country. For example, you're working, let's say you are from the States and you work in, let's say, Malaysia, right? And then you pick that up. Now, why do people like those international medical cards? Very, very simple. The international medical cards, basically, number one, they are unlike your normal travel medical cards where it's out of pocket. This one, they just pay upfront. It means they also have a network, but it is not quite as wide as the local ones where it's connected to all the main hospitals in Malaysia and so forth. But it doesn't matter, because one thing good about it is that the limits are very high. So it goes up to millions in USD, 2-3 million USD. It is possible, number one. Number two, now they have become really advanced where they have a network of hospitals. They also do cover certain clinics. For example, let's say if you're an expat, you are traveling and you need to see, let's say even a clinic, see a doctor, a GP, it covers for that. So this is something that is quite interesting. Number two, what we also see is that for most of these international medical cards, they also recently offer things like mental health consultation, and they've got facilities for that where you can go online, you can use an app, and it's all baked into the product. Another thing that's also quite good about these international medical cards is that they have a worldwide network, which is really wide. I mean, you cannot compare with the local ones where it's very concentrated, very wide within that country. Whereas for the international medical cards, they have a huge coverage basically for worldwide. So it's really useful for expats, and do not mind paying a higher premium, knowing very well that their coverage is wider and they've got a higher limit. So these are some of the differences between a medical card, a local medical card, an international medical card, and a travel plan, so of let's say a travel insurance. And what you pick up depends on your usage. So obviously, if you are, let's say, a local Malaysian and you are basically residing in Malaysia, I would say definitely a local plan. Then of course, if you are traveling, look for a plan that if you can, that you do not need to pay out of pocket. Because most of the travel insurance, you actually have to pay out of pocket first. And after that claim, and remember, sometimes when you're overseas, the hospitals can be quite high at hospital bill, and you still need to pay for that first and then make that claim. So that could be a problem. You still need to have some cash. So back to travel insurance, you can actually look for one that you do not need to pay upfront. It's cashless facility right off the bat. So there are some providers that actually offer that. But let's say if you are an expat and you are working in a different country, it doesn't have to be working in Malaysia, but any part of the world, and you want to have the assurance, although your company offers you some sort of coverage, then I would say you should consider, let's say, like an international medical card. For medical cards also, the international ones is that companies now actually use that, right? A lot of companies now where they have remote teams and they have basically staffs all over the world, then they would rather opt for an international medical card to provide to their staff. So also that works pretty well. So there you go. That's some of the key differences between the three products. So if you're not sure, you can always come to our website at www.coverbuddies.com. That's www.coverbuddies.com. Drop us a line or use our live chat. Ask us any questions that you're unsure of, and we'd be more than happy to answer you.
If you enjoyed our show today, be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media, or sign up for our newsletter through our website at www.coverbuddies.com so you'll get all the good stuff sent directly to you.